Build your own system. This is the Commonplace book, Commonplace binder. I'm going to set this down now. This is the Commonplace binder 101 playlist. We're on video number 83, meaning we're almost all the way done. This is actually not about the Commonplace book or the Commonplace binder. This is how you might finally write that book. So if you have been wanting to write a book and you just never really got around to it, and you're probably not actually going to do it, but you're thinking about it and you want to like do something beforehand, which might actually go in a different direction, which might be more interesting, or maybe you're just really interested in focusing on your special interests, then maybe this will be the thing for you. So build your own system. So earlier when I picked this up, I was talking about it being a Commonplace book, Commonplace binder, and saying like, I don't really know what's going on with that. Basically, commonplace books have existed for centuries, depending on the definition, and, well, normally they're not in a binder. So sometimes they are, but I am calling this something slightly different so I can talk about it in a slightly different way. So let's get on to it. Build your own system. You got to make your own thing. My thing is slightly different. Your thing can be slightly different. And we've got more stuff to do. Quality of work. One of the benefits of having a binder is that the stuff that you put in it might not be good, but if you screw up, you can just kind of take it out, and that's it. So it's a lot more flexible, but in that sense, it's a lot harder to memorize whatever you put in, so it's more of a work in progress than I have finalized the secrets to the universe, and I'm going to keep them in one place forever. Creating like a kid. So when we're working with the binder, we just want to mess around and we want to get to the point in whatever way is the easiest. Now, this is very frustrating for a lot of people because normally we get told to do the hard thing first or, work towards the big goals. But this is more for the little stuff, at least if you're feeling your way through and you've never done it before, because if someone can't write a single sentence, they're probably not going to write a page. And if they can't write a page, they're probably not going to write a book. So it's all about getting the first steps in, and so even if you just want to do a little wall presentation for yourself, you'll probably be making more progress than if you were doing nothing. So, managing the dystopia. Maybe the reason you're doing this is because you're getting a little stressed out, and it's like, well, I'm experiencing the horrors, so why don't I write something about them? I'm not really sure what the motivation is, but, some things are always a little spooky. So maybe you're freaked out about some random specific thing like tokenization. You're like, what's going on here? Or you might just be worried about like food. I don't know. There are a lot of different things that someone could worry about, but there's no reason to put a huge amount of fear into this. Every version of yourself. So some parts of you are probably going to be scared. Other parts are probably not going to be worried at all. And it's like, why would I worry about forestry, There are a lot of reasons to worry about everything, but if we spend every second of every day thinking about how we're just on a little speck flying through the universe, it's probably going to be a little distracting. So if you are experiencing those feelings, you can write them down and treat this more like a journal, and then maybe look up some related sources afterwards, and then write down some stuff from the sources and what the sources were, and then, get rid of the scared, spooky feelings from the beginning, or maybe you'll put them in an actual journal. But the point is, with the binder, you can actually move this stuff around, and it drives me so crazy when people start out and they're like, I'm going to go straight to the book. Like, you do that, champ. That's... I did that first, and it really stressed me out because I would fill in space, and then I realized I need more stuff, and I didn't really want to glue stuff in, and I didn't really want to tape it on there, and then have to fold everything. It was a mess. And so I would just write stuff, then I would try to draw a little line, I would write which page it was on, and then that's way too much work. Daily musings. So maybe you're just going to write down one sentence every day for 3 years, and you're going to have 1,000 sentences. It's going to be great. And then you can sort those or something. Now, it might not be the benefit comes from actually writing the thing down, or doing something with it, or thinking it's going to do something. It might be that one of those is what's really important, and so if you focus on whichever thing is the most important, you can change your system around to fit that one specific thing. Like, for example, if you're just writing things down, there's no need to categorize anything. So you just write down a thought, and then you close it, and then you come back to it later and you just write down a thought, and that's it, and you just keep doing that. Now, not looking at anything ever that you've done before, I mean, like, that might be a little unproductive, but it might also just be a thing that somebody does before they go to sleep, and they're like, I've got 10 thoughts, I'm going to write them down. When I wake up in the morning, I'm going to do one of the things, or add it to my to-do list, I'm just going to scratch all the rest. Like, if it's important, it'll come up later, I don't need to worry about it. Running from destiny. So, maybe you're going to write down all the things that you have to do, and then you're going to cross them out, you're going to be like, oh no, that's too scary. That's way too scary. I can't order something online, I have to... Maybe I should go in person. Maybe it'd be too scary to order the thing online. Or maybe it'd be even scarier to order the thing in person. Maybe I should just not get it. Maybe I'll hold off. And, I don't know. You're probably not running from the destiny of buying soap or something. That doesn't make a whole bunch of sense. You know, sometimes I get a little worried about buying some food because I'm like, I could get this from other places. It could be better. It could be cheaper. And it's like, okay, well, just do it then. I'm like, well, just do it. An obligation. So you're not obligated to do this, of course. Just as a quick refresher, in case you didn't watch the other 82 videos, because that would be kind of ridiculous. So this is what I call the commonplace binder. In the beginning, there's a content section, and I simply write down whatever the thing is, and then, you know, whatever the thing is at the top of the page. And so what that means is I don't need any page numbers, which can be really, really annoying to manually add to every single page. Some people get around this by using something that's already numbered, or they'll have stamps. But personally, that drives me crazy. Part of the benefit is having a blank sheet of paper and then just being able to write whatever on it. But then if I see the number, I'm going to focus on the number. And that's a very small thing. But it's like when someone's writing down ideas. It might be they have 5 seconds before the idea is gone, or like half of it is gone. Other people can last for, 10 seconds or a little bit longer than that. And then, there's some people who can hold random thoughts in their head for like days, which I think is crazy. Because for me, it's if I can't write it down, or at least start to write it down within 5 seconds, it's gone. Not totally. If I started writing down something, or like I got to my desk and I was ready to write within 10 seconds, go for a walk, or I can just like start pacing, and then I'll usually figure it out within 5 minutes. But it's very annoying because if I miss that little 5-second window, then I lose like 5 or 10 minutes of my time, and it's really, really annoying. So just depending on who you are, you might want to prioritize making sure you can write down the thing immediately. Small joys. So one of the small joys in life is having a clean, quiet place to write. But that's not something everybody has access to. So it might be that the small joy is just not getting yelled at all day, every single day. Like if somebody has one of those crappy jobs where they have to get in the car, commute to work, and it takes like half an hour, and then when they're at work, they're just getting complained to the entire time, or people are shouting, and then when nobody's shouting, it's like random passive-aggressive nonsense, and then they have to get back in the car, and it's like 30 minutes home, and then they look at their paycheck, and it's like minimum wage, and they're like, oh no. So if you're in that situation, the small joys might get you through the day, but probably doesn't feel great because it doesn't feel like anything's advancing. Era of refinement. So it might be one thing that somebody does is they just feel like everything sucks and they're just going to rot. And so they'll just be watching videos, and maybe you're watching this video right now and you're like, well, I don't actually want to write the book, and I just want the aspirational stuff. Oh boy. I got an exciting text from someone just now, which says, we need to talk. Never good to get those. I haven't gotten one of those in a very long time. So, era of refinement. I don't know if I can refine my ideas after... I keep getting like doom texts coming from the top. I don't get a lot of texts. Okay, this is kind of funny. Era of refinement, right. So if you're watching YouTube videos, maybe one thing you can do is you can go back and watch some of the videos again, or you can take notes on the new videos that you watch. Now, if you're taking notes on the new videos that you watch, The problem with that is it's not going to be as enjoyable, probably, and then you should probably look at the notes afterwards and then probably do something with the notes afterwards, but a lot of people just watch videos for entertainment, so, you know, they're not going to take a whole bunch of notes on that. But maybe you do want to focus more on the educational value, in which case it might be good to look at the things that you've already looked at. The problem with that is if somebody only looks at the things that they've already looked at, they can feel like they're missing out and also feel like their information is outdated, and it doesn't feel like we're really living through an era of refinement right now. It feels like we're living through an era of everybody throwing spaghetti at the wall and like seeing what happens. Things are getting really weird. Rewarded for relaxation. I have found that a lot of the people who watch this channel tend to watch on Saturday or sometime around the weekend. So maybe what happens is everybody just wants to relax after a long week of school or work or whatever. And maybe me being calm is actually what I need to make better videos. So the other people can get to relax, and I can be rewarded for helping them with the relaxation. I don't know about that. It feels like a little bit of a stretch, but we're going to get on to the next one. Develop rare skills. So I guess working on a commonplace book or commonplace binder is kind of a rare skill, but it's not super monetizable. You know what I mean? Like, even if the top 20% of videos in this category break 10,000 views, that's not great for ad revenue. So that means they would need to have sponsors, or maybe something would have to be snuck into the video that like redirects the person to somewhere else. I don't really know what the long-term strategy is. I mean, obviously if someone's number one in something, they're number one. Like they're the go-to person. But if they're not number one, like, is the rare skill really going to help out? It's like, I am the best. Well, the one that people normally use to insult college grads is the underwater basket weaving or whatever. But like, if you are the number one for that, maybe there's an opportunity. It's just, if you're like number 100 for that, it's probably not going to help out too much. Artificial starting line. Do you need this before you start? Why haven't you started writing? I thought you were going to write that book. What's going on here? Make it look easy. So maybe the artificial starting line is going to make it look easy. Maybe you're just going to say, today's the day, I'm going to do the thing, and as long as I make some progress today, we're all good. That's probably not going to work out. But who knows? Yeah, so make it look easy. I'm not really making it look easy right now. If you want to make videos, I guess. I didn't really want to make this video today. I didn't really want to make this video yesterday. As I mentioned in the previous two videos, I think I've been experiencing a lot of back pain and other random nonsense for no reason, which is very frustrating. And then after this, I'm going to have to deal with whatever the text nonsense was. So, yeah. Removing guesswork. What's going to be in your book? Do you know what's going to be in your book? Because if you don't know what's going to be in your book before you write the book, that might be a little challenging. So at the beginning of this channel, when I would make videos, I had no idea what I was going to talk about. I had nothing prepped whatsoever when I was going to start a video. I didn't even have the title. Like, I didn't have anything. So there are some really funny videos where I just walked into the frame and I'm like, whoa, what is this? What do I say about this? And so what I did is I made a giant document and I broke it down into outlines, and then below the outline I would make a script. And then when I would present it, I wouldn't actually look at the script. I would just work with the outline. And so in some ways that's really good because the outline can like generally get me where I'm supposed to go. The script would be super helpful and precise. And there are some videos towards the beginning of the playlist which had me basically reading from the script. And those were good. It's not that I was reading from the script, it's just I had a bunch more bullet points and I like put them on this table here. And I was like, oh, okay. The reason I moved my head back was because the table's very low to the ground, so it's basically on the floor, so it's a little difficult to, read everything. Removing guesswork, yeah. Sometimes it's difficult to figure out where I am, and so what I did is I made this colored note cards instead of just white note cards. And so the reason for that is I can remember, oh yeah, I was looking at the green stuff. Or at least I was doing the yellows, and I think I'm on the greens, but I might be on the blues, so I can just scan the green and be like, oh, yeah, I saw that. I don't need to worry about that. I'm not ready. So I didn't feel like I was ready to record. That's okay. I'll just record anyway. No, some days it's really easy to record, other days not so much. Normally I record in the middle of the night, so I don't get the weird texts. And so nobody's mowing their lawn. Thankfully, nobody's mowing their lawn right now. I don't know why. Maybe it's because the humidity is just ridiculous right now. I think it's like 80 degrees and 80% humidity. If you're not used to Fahrenheit, that's it's like a hot summer day in a place with forest, like a temperate forest. I'm not really explaining this properly. Basically, 50 and below is shorts weather, and then above 100 is we're not going outside. So, yeah. Validation. Maybe this video will help you with your validation. You're going to be like, I wrote the things down, I'm making progress, and we're all good, and I'll finally get there eventually. It's going to be great. I don't know. Maybe you already have progress and you just need some validation. You need someone to tell you you're doing a good job and you're going to get there eventually. Told the story. So next year I'm going to be trying to tell a story. It's not really like writing a book, but it kind of feels like it because I'm going to be going through the 25 years of someone's life as like a framework to explain the education project for next year, which might work really well. It also might be a mega fail. And if it fails horribly, I'm going to feel really embarrassed, and it's going to be good effort, but it's I'm going to be trying something weird. So we'll see what happens. How am I going to do that? Or how are you going to finally write that book? I feel like the way to finally write a book is to just write something. Because I'm not talking about getting published, I'm not talking about getting a bestseller, I'm not talking about even showing it to other people. Like, if you're just writing for yourself, you just have to write the thing, as far as I can tell. Now, it used to be very difficult for me to write even a sentence. And then a paragraph was challenging, and then a 3-paragraph essay was really annoying, and a 5-paragraph essay was really annoying. It turns out it was mostly difficult for school, because I wasn't getting enough sleep, and people just kind of assumed I knew how to do everything already, instead of telling me, like, all the little steps. And I also needed examples. And so one of the great things about a commonplace book or a commonplace binder is you can hold on to examples from people who have already done it before, or people who have done a good job, or people who you just want to do stuff like. And so then it's not like copying, but it's being inspired by someone, which is a lot easier than just, I am going to create something of nothing, or from nothing, with no experience, and no end goal, and no assistance, and you got to remove a lot of the guesswork by creating a little framework. Picking. So how do you pick what to do? Well, for this, I basically had a big word bank, and I just grabbed little words and phrases, and I figured I would go through them one at a time. I don't think this one went very well, but sometimes they go very well, which is very interesting. Normally after this, there's another step, but I'm getting a little bit sloppy towards the end, and I'm sorry for that. There is a little bit of a decrease in quality. I hope that the quality of work increases later on. Part of the problem is, instead of breaking this down into 5 playlists of 20, I decided to go through the one playlist of 100 to see the maximum effort I could put into something. Because normally I jump from thing to thing and I never finish anything, and I'm like, well, I could finish this up a little bit, and I will finish it up. I'll get it from level 1 to level 2, even though level 10 is where all the rewards are. And it's just I need to do the thing more. So I'm trying to do the thing more. Maybe you're trying to do the thing more, and you just gotta do that first step. So before you have a binder, all you gotta have is a sheet of paper and a place to put the sheet of paper. So maybe you have a box or a tray next to your desk. Maybe you even put it in your desk. So up next is how I keep binder. So that's probably how I keep my binder, or how I keep my commonplace binder. This is a shorter version of whatever the next title is going to be. An abbreviation, of course. Yeah, okay. Bye.